When we picture the Middle Ages, we often imagine grand castles, armored knights and epic battles, images shaped by legends and movies. But that's only a sliver of the real story, a glimpse into the lives of a privileged few. The vast majority, nearly 90%, were peasants, living far from royal courts and the stone walls of castles. Their lives revolved around the land, the changing seasons, and the rhythms of their small villages, where every day was shaped by hard work and hope for a good harvest. Imagine a world where the loudest sounds were church bells calling the community together, or the lowing of oxen in the fields, not the constant bustle of cities or markets. Peasant homes were simple and humble, built from timber, mud, and straw, often with just 1 or 2 rooms for an entire family, and little protection from the elements. Life was tough, but not primitive. Villages had their own rules, traditions, and a strong sense of community that helped everyone survive. These people were resourceful and resilient, deeply connected to family, faith, and neighbors, relying on each other for support and companionship. Their story isn't just hardship, it's about survival, cooperation, and finding joy in the everyday, through festivals, shared meals, and simple pleasures. To truly understand the Middle Ages, we need to step away from the castles and into the fields, where real life unfolded for most people. Here, in the heart of the countryside, we find the real heart of medieval life, one built on hard work, hope, and human connection. It's a story worth telling, one that reveals the true fabric of the past, woven from the lives of ordinary people. Let's walk into their world and discover the Middle Ages as it really was. A peasant's year was a relentless cycle of work, shaped by the changing seasons and the demands of the land. Life in the medieval countryside was dictated by the rhythm of nature, with each month bringing new challenges and tasks. Spring meant plowing and planting, back-breaking labor with oxen and wooden plows, as peasants prepared the fields for the year's crops. The soil had to be turned and seeds carefully sown, all before the rains arrived. Every family member had a job, from sowing seeds to mending tools. Even children helped with lighter tasks, while elders passed down knowledge and skills essential for survival. Summer brought weeding and haymaking, vital for feeding livestock through winter. Long days in the sun meant little rest, as every hand was needed to gather and store enough hay. Autumn was the busiest. The entire village harvested grain from dawn to dusk, racing against storms and the threat of early frost. The success of the harvest determined the fate of the community. Success meant survival. Failure could mean hunger or even famine. Every grain counted, and the anxiety of a poor harvest weighed heavily on everyone. Their diet was simple: dark bread, pottage stew, and vegetables from their gardens. Meals were plain but nourishing, made from whatever the land could provide. Meat was rare, save for special days. Most protein came from cheese, eggs, or fish. Only during festivals or celebrations did peasants enjoy a richer meal. Food was monotonous, but it fueled their hard work and kept them going through long, exhausting days in the fields. The rhythm of the year was unchanging, passed down for generations. Each season's tasks were learned from parents and grandparents, creating a sense of continuity and tradition. Life was tough, but every season brought its own hope, a promise that with hard work and a little luck, the land would provide once again. Medieval peasants lived under feudalism, a rigid system built on land, power, and strict social hierarchy. At its core, it was a web of loyalty, mutual obligation, and unbreakable ties between classes. Kings granted vast lands to powerful lords, who in turn allowed peasants to work small plots in exchange for relentless labor and heavy taxes. Most peasants, known as serfs, were bound to the land, unable to leave or seek new opportunities without their lord's permission. They spent long, exhausting days toiling in the lord's fields before they could even tend to their own meager crops. During harvests, extra labor was demanded, and the pressure to meet quotas was immense. Nearly every necessity, from grinding grain at the mill to baking bread in the communal oven, came with a fee paid to the lord. The church, too, claimed a tenth of their produce as tithe, adding to the peasants' burdens. Even personal matters weren't free. Peasants needed the lord's approval for marriage, for moving to another village, or for passing land to their children through inheritance. In return, the lord offered protection from raiders and outside threats, but always at a steep cost. The system kept peasants firmly at the bottom, supporting the wealth and power of those above them. Yet, despite its hardships, this feudal bargain was the backbone of medieval society, shaping daily life for centuries. Despite hardship, village life was rich in community and tradition. Neighbors worked, celebrated, and supported each other through every challenge. The parish church was the village's anchor, spiritually and socially. Festivals and holy days offered rare breaks from work, filled with feasting, music, and games. These moments of joy strengthened bonds and brought relief from daily toil. Evenings were spent together, sharing stories, mending, and singing by the hearth. Women spun wool, men repaired tools, and families grew closer. This social fabric was essential for survival and resilience. Life was hard, but it was also filled with laughter, faith, and shared experience. The village was truly the heart of medieval life. Forget the myth of filthy, short-lived peasants. Medieval people valued cleanliness, washing daily, using homemade soap, and bathing in rivers or bathhouses. Life expectancy was low mainly due to high child mortality, but adults often lived into their 50s or 60s. Peasants weren't ignorant, they were skilled in farming, animal care, and herbal medicine. Their practical knowledge was vital for survival and passed down through generations. These were resilient, resourceful people who built strong communities and found joy in simple things. Their labor sustained society, and their spirit shaped history. By looking beyond castles and knights, we see the true story of the Middle Ages. It's a story of ordinary people who made the world turn.